Vegan and you want to build muscle with calisthenics, the fly is not going to help you, but I can. I'm Stefano, I'm a vegan calisthenics coach, and I can help you build muscle, but most specifically, I'm going to debunk all of these myths about the fact that it's nutrition you need to focus on when it comes to build muscle, when in reality is that you need to be a specialist in the way you train if your goal is actually building muscle and strength over time and consistently. Well, any other situations as well, even if you want to build some muscle and some strength and then give up, you still need to train properly. Eating more calories and eating protein is not going to magically transform into more muscle and more strength if you don't train right. So yesterday we talked all about kind of how to organize a workout, and today we are going to talk about exercise selection, how to make progress within the workout, what are the best goals for a beginner, and we're going to focus on these things. How does it look like, the progression of some exercises, So let's get started. Someone is asking if I can suggest a vegan diet. Not today, not in this live, I'm not going to talk about diet, but if you send me a DM saying I am in, I'll send you my PDF and you have a diet example there. So I can start with what are the goals, the main goals that you should have as a beginner in calisthenics. We are obviously going to start with the level absolute 0, okay? And of course, the first goals you want to get to is pull-ups, able to do something like 6-8 pull-ups. That's a great achievement. And dips and push-ups. Push-ups usually is something that most people in my community and before they become clients, they usually are able to do push-ups. So I wouldn't say it's not really a goal. It's more of a tool that you're going to be using to get stronger, but definitely you want to be able to do 7 pull-ups and 8 pull-ups and 8 dips. Now, thinking more on long term, what are the goals that you would like to have after, these basics, pull-ups and dips? So, and we're not going to talk about legs. Legs, your goal with calisthenics is going to be pistol squats. 1 leg squat, that's your goal. That's it, it's finished. But, when it comes to upper body strength, your first goal for push, it should be handstand push-up. And then it should be, and then muscle up for pulling. So people make the mistake of, in my opinion, that's the way I would approach training. I'm not saying it's the only way, but many people that they go into front lever, planche, perhaps human flag, 90-degree push-up. They try to achieve and work on these advanced skills, but I think that for different reasons, like one of the reasons I think it's better to do handstand push-ups and muscle up first is because they're more like natural movement patterns, and you are exerting actually strength and power in order to perform them. On the other side, planche and front lever, even though they require a progression in strength and they require you to get stronger, they are more, they have a, more skill involved into it. They are more strength specific. So if you do start working, if you start doing, planche and front lever before you focus on handstand push-up and muscle up, what's going to happen is that you might get injured actually, because you put your body into this weird position without having developed strength within a more simple movement patterns, as well as you're not going to be able to develop as much strength overall with these advanced skill like front lever and planche. They have their place in your strength development, but how can I put this? So basically, if you start working towards planche and front lever first, that's not going to transfer to handstand push-ups and muscle up. On the other way around, if you do focus on muscle up and handstand push-up first, this strength is going to allow you to make a quicker progress for more advanced exercises like planche and front lever. Okay, so I would put these as your kind of your goals over time. So you want to master the basic first, so 8 pull-ups, 8 dips. After that, you're going to start working towards handstand push-ups and muscle up. Also, together with handstand push-ups, you can start working towards a one arm push-up as a secondary thing. You cannot do the same with the pulling strength, just because like one arm pull-up it's a whole another level. But yeah, you can do some exercises that are more unilateral, but it's not going to be a proper goal at the beginning to work towards a one arm pull-up, because it's a very difficult exercise. So again, the order of calisthenics goal for a beginner is going to be 8 pull-ups, 8 dips, muscle up, handstand push-up. You can throw in one arm push-ups as a goal, and then after that, once you've been able to unlock like 3 repetitions of handstand push-ups and 3 repetitions of muscle ups, then you can start focusing a little bit more on the skills, if you want, like front lever and planche. Now let's talk about the back lever, because this is also a skill that beginners want to achieve. I don't put back lever into my training. However, I'm able to do a back lever because, of course you can get stronger into the back lever, but it's a very weird position. You have your arms behind your back, your shoulder are into a very dangerous position. So I think it doesn't make sense to actually train for back lever. If you want to learn the back lever, just try it a little bit before your workout. It doesn't require that much strength. It's more you having to learn the technique, and you will get it. So how do we learn, how do we progress towards these exercises? And we're going to go in order. So first we talk about dips and pull-ups, right? So it's very easy to make the progression of these two. So you simply want to use elastic bands to assist you if you cannot do the full form, and you can also use the negative movement. So for pull-ups, you start from the top and you slowly go down, and for dips, you jump up on the parallels and you slowly come down. Okay, usually I would say that you can, if it feels good, you can start with the negatives, and then once you have created enough volume, you can do 6 repetitions of the negative. Then you start using the bands. So start with a hard band and then scale it down until you're able to do pull-ups and dips without assistance. All right. So here the general rule is it's this every time. So you want, before increasing the difficulty of the exercise, you want to be able to do at least 3 sets of 6 repetitions for that exercise. Okay, so now we have dips, we have pull-ups. How do we progress towards muscle ups and handstand push-ups. Let's start with the muscle up progression. So here's where everyone does it wrong. You know, most people in their calisthenics journey, they get to these 8-10 pull-ups in a row, and they think that it's straightforward, the jump from pull-ups to muscle up. What happened is, at the end of the day, they perhaps even be able to do a muscle up, but they use their knees, so they use momentum, and they don't do it with full range of motion. So they stays bent while they're doing it, and so they are cheating the exercise, and they are not. They're basically plateauing their strength progress by doing an exercise without the correct technique. So instead of going from pull-ups to muscle up as a quick jump, you need to develop more pulling strength. So how do we do it? So the first step I would do is adding some weight. So wherever you are, it's pretty easy to add 10 to 15 kilograms. So it would be good to have make a progression towards 15 kilograms pull-ups. Okay. Once you have 15 kilogram pull-ups, you're actually not that strong in pulling strength to go directly into a muscle up. So you want to scale it up a little bit more. So you can either keep adding weight until 20-30 kilograms, okay, or you can start developing strength through the unilateral movement. So instead of doing a pull-ups like this, you're going to go to the side, okay? Okay, you can make these movement more and more difficult by putting your hands more and more further away from each other. But it's not necessary to go to completely straight arm. You know, for now, you can do it, but it is a pretty difficult progression to get to. So once you have done that, once you can do the side-to-side pull-ups, you can start being more specific about performing muscle-up variations. So the first thing that you want to do is working on your explosive strength. So and this is pretty simple, you know, like you just use a band like you were doing for regular pull-ups. But here's the trick, like you want to make sure that you are pulling high enough. So here is a good rule of thumb. So below the chest, you want to use a band that allows you to be explosive and be able to do a pull-up until below the chest. If you do it here, you're not being very useful towards your muscle up progress. So it needs to be here or lower. Okay, so don't be afraid of using, again, you know, a band that you used as a beginner, because a pull up below the chest is much harder. And that's it really. Then once you scale the band with your high pull-ups, you almost have a muscle up, you know, because once you learn how to pull up like here, the muscle up is done. You just need to move your chest forward, okay? What's important is that when you do these high pull-ups, you do it with clean form. You don't use your knees to create momentum. However, there are other exercises that you can implement into your muscle up journey, which is negative muscle ups. So you start from the top of the bar and you slowly go down, really focusing on the transition part, okay? And also doing the full muscle up with the band. This is another thing that of course you can do, but just don't go straight into the full muscle up. Focus more on the explosive pull-ups, because it's just more effective. It helps to develop that raw explosive strength. Like, to give you a personal example of my training and my results towards the muscle up, I never really train muscle ups. It's years now that I don't really train muscle up as an exercise, I focus on the explosive pull-ups and the high pull-ups. And every time I want to do a video and I want to do some muscle up, they're always there. So it's clear that there is a direct transfer, and it's not that necessary to perform the full muscle up. Another benefit of not doing the full muscle up is that you're not pushing. You're not using your chest and tricep, and you keep them fresh for your push workout, for example, right? And if you're asking, Stefano, but if I cannot do if I don't train the dips, how am I going to be able to do muscle up? Well, the straight bar dip is the easiest part of a muscle up. So if you're training push and you're doing dips and you're doing push-ups, then you're just going to naturally put it together when you perform a muscle up. Okay, so this is the muscle up progression. Let's go into the handstand push-up progression. So the best approach to this is going to be actually training for a handstand, just a normal handstand from the beginning of your calisthenic journey. You just need to do a little bit, like 2, 3, 5 minutes before you work out, and you're going to start making progress, and it's going to help you a lot. The moment you're going to start wanting to learn, frog stand to handstand push-ups and all these freestanding pushing exercises, if you don't know how to balance upside down, you're not going to be able to perform these strength figures. Okay, so start practicing handstand. You can practice handstand as a beginner. You don't need that much strength to practice handstand. And what's the progression? So we're going to start with pike push-ups. Again, the focus here is getting to 3 sets of 5 to 6 repetitions before making the exercise more difficult. And once you got that, you want to elevate your feet first. Once you can do elevated feet pike push-ups, then you want to move. So you want to make the elevated feet pike push-ups more difficult. So you can do this in different ways. You can use a weighted vest. Okay, so there is no comfortable way to add weight to pike push-ups if it's not a weighted vest. So if you don't have a weighted vest, to add 5, 10, and up to 15 kilograms, what you can do is, again, going side to side. So you're going to do a pike push-up, right? So you do a pike push-up, but you do to the side. This is pretty hard, actually. All right. So if you do the side to side variation, then the goal becomes 10 to 12 reps, right? Because you want to do six on both sides. And now it depends from person to person, but you can go 2 ways. You can either just go to the wall and do handstand push-up, the negative part of the handstand push-up, which is my preferred option for the progression, or you can start doing pike push-ups on the floor, but when you're going down, you're going to try and lift your feet from the floor. So either these or the negative handstand push-ups. And then once you are doing handstand push-ups, the negative part on the wall, you can start doing the full movement up and down. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, most people cannot do the full range of motion all the way down to the floor and back up. So here's one of the few moments in which I actually allow partial repetitions. Okay, so in order to progress, and all you do is just find a depth in which you can go for the handstand push-ups. Okay, make sure you track it, maybe with some books. You put some books and you hit your head as you go down, and you're just going to progress the handstand push-ups, going deeper and deeper until you can do it with the full range of motion and touching your head to the floor. What's after this? After this, you're going to be doing handstand push-ups on the wall, but with your belly facing the wall. And once you manage that, and you can do 6 repetitions doing that, then what you're going to be doing is basically floating as you go up. So you go down with your feet on the floor and your belly facing the wall, facing the wall. And when you push back up, you want to try and float. Here we are talking about already a good difficulty level. But then once you start balancing, or you start balancing your way up in your handstand push-up, then you want to start doing frog stand to handstand. Okay, so you can look it up, like frog stand to handstand. And usually this is a bit difficult to do like without assistance. So you can do it with a band attached to a pull-up bar. Frog stand to handstand. Again, we're going to scale the band as you increase the volume and you get to 5-6 repetitions for each band. So you scale it down. And once you can do it with the lighter band, you can start doing frog stand to handstand without assistance. You can do it with your back close to a wall, so you're less scared of falling on the other side. And once you have this, then you want to practice the negative handstand push-up without support. The best way to go about it, if you're able to do the frog stand to handstand, then what you're going to do is just doing frog stand to handstand and then slowly doing the negative handstand push-up. So at this point, you are almost there. It's all about practice, like handstand push-ups without the support of the wall. They are not as straightforward to get as it is a muscle up, which is all about strength progression. Of course, in a handstand push-up, you have balance involved, and it will take some time to get it right. Trust me. But be patient. Once you see that you can manage to throw in some repetition, even if you fall, get back up, and it's all about practice. So I think we're not going to actually talk about the progression towards planche and front lever today. We'll do it another day, but I also know that most of you guys are beginners, so this is actually what I suggest you do for your progress in calisthenics as a beginner. And I promise you that if you follow these strength progression that makes sense, you are going to get great results, get stronger, build muscle, look better, and feel more confident. If that was helpful, just drop me a comment, tell me what was the most useful part from this live, and if you need help with your calisthenics journey so you can build muscle as a vegan, just drop me a DM saying I'm in, and I'll see you in the next one.